Welcome in, everybody. It is week 6 of the Tuesday night fantasy cheat sheet on Going for Two live. I have been gone. These guys miss me. I miss them. But before we talk football, I got to hit the video. Let's get it, boys.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, everyone. Like I said, it is the fantasy cheat sheet presented by Going for Two Live. Go like, subscribe, comment on all your platforms. I'm just going to get straight into it. What is up, fellas?
Man, you got to give a shout out to Roshan for bulldozing his way for 2 touchdowns this week. Man, I just had to say it. Also, I am currently ranked 106th overall in the Scott Fish Bowl. 9-1 in my division. I was a top 10 scorer this week. I would have been top 5, but I forgot to switch out Gabe Davis with Brian Robinson.
Maybe before I let Jordan and I'm going to let Jordan and Reggie say their intros, and then I got something I need to say.
What's up, guys? Well, I'm ready to talk some more football. I am not doing as good in Scott Fishbowl as you guys, but I am 8-2 right now. So
nice.
I'm holding it down.
Congratulations, Jamie, and same to all you guys for being in the Scott Fishbowl next year. Hi, everybody.
All right. So, Jamie, when I said I needed to say something, you're probably thinking I'm going to crap on your Roshan Johnson. No, I'm not going to crap on your Roshan Johnson. I'm going to poop on your parade of SFB. Because you're in what?
106.
29th, baby. Let's go.
Good job, man.
29th overall. Let's go. And guess what? I had on the bench? Rico freaking Dowdle, like I told you, Jamie.
Yep.
I played Reggie's boy, Devon Chain, and freaking he gets hurt, and then Dowdle goes and freaking goes off. Jamie, it's awesome that you're in 106. I was going to bring it up, and then as soon as I saw you post it earlier, I'm like, oh, he's going to bring it up, so I'm just going to let him bring it up, and then I'll bring it up on top of it. But, so since I saw someone's not on the show sheet, I have to bring this up before we get into the news, just to rain on your parade a little bit. You're so right. You're saying, oh, Roshan Johnson this, Roshan Johnson that. But you're not admitting you were wrong on Kyron Williams.
He did.
Oh, you missed the show.
Yeah, you missed it.
Oh, you actually admitted it? Okay, good.
Dude, I gave him props as a real player.
Yeah.
Okay, I actually got to give you a high five then. All right. I mean, I wasn't in the hospital, but I was at the hospital for 20 straight hours. I could not freaking see straight that night.
It killed him, but he admitted it.
Yeah, I did.
All right, so let's get into the news. We'll get into one piece of news once we start talking about Monday Night Football. I do see the comments. I'll get to the questions in a little bit throughout the show. First, the biggest piece of news that came down today came out of New York City. Robert Saleh gets fired as the head coach of the New York Jets. They're saying Woody Johnson fired him. I think someone else fired him. We'll get to that in a second. Jamie, what's your initial thoughts about Robert Saleh being fired as the New York head coach after 5 games?
Yeah, no, I thought it was pretty funny because I heard Saleh was going to fire Hackett.
Yep.
Before he got fired. But, yeah, no, I think that would have been a smarter move because the offense is the problem, not the defense. Like, Saleh's a defensive mind coach. The defense is doing awesome. Hackett's going to be the same old Hackett, and they're not going to get any better. So it doesn't make sense to me.
All right. So, Jordan, you know the question I'm about to ask you as the Packer fan.
Mm-hmm.
Did Woody Johnson fire him or did number 8 fire him?
I think number 8 had a little bit to do with it. I would say, obviously, the owner made the final call, but when you see the way that Rodgers and Saleh interacted, at different points throughout the season. Last week or 2 weeks ago, they were throwing each other under the bus with the cadence issue and stuff like that. The relationship got rocky, I think, after Rodgers went to Egypt and skipped mini camp, and then from there it gotta continue. But like Jamie said, the offense is the problem, and now the interim coach is another defensive guy. Hackett's still there causing the issue. So, I don't see. I think it'll change just because anytime you see a coaching change, the team plays better for like a week or two. But the thing is it going to be sustainable? And that's something I don't think it'll be as long as the rest of the coaching staff is in place.
Reggie, what's your take on this debacle?
My take is allegedly he had to be escorted out by security and was not allowed to talk to the team afterwards. And I'd be darned, they would have had to carry me out. You mean to tell me I survived Wilson and to be fired now? Oh, I am kicking and screaming. Zach Wilson, I couldn't even think of his name. Look, I survived that, and now you fire me. Well, is it deserving? Will he get another shot, or will he go back to his bread and butter and be a defensive coordinator? Is what I'm wondering most.
I'll be honest. Yes, he got the raw end of the deal, but from day one, I don't think he was meant to be a head coach. Not all coordinators are meant to be head coaches. There's nothing wrong with it. I mean, we're seeing it in Kansas City right now. Steve Spagnuolo was not meant to be a head coach. He was a great DC in New York with the NASCAR defense with Strahan and all the Junior and all those guys when they won. Now he's our DC. He's doing good there. Like he was not meant to be he was the head coach of the Rams for a bit. He was not meant to be a head coach. We had a couple, Chiefs had a couple. There's a bunch of coordinators that are not meant to be head coaches. Matt Nagy is an okay coordinator. He's not meant to be a head coach. There's certain ones that we still don't know if they're – yeah, exactly. Patricia, yeah. I don't call him Matt Patricia. I'm not going to say what I call him right now on camera. Actually, I don't know if Reggie's ever heard me call Matt Patricia by his nickname. His name is Fat Patricia. And I think he's not meant. Yes, he got the raw end of the deal. I did see a stat on my way home while I was on the bus because I did talk to Reggie about it. I'm riding the bus this week for the first time. It's kind of crazy. So I sat there and I was looking at some stuff. No team has made the playoffs since the merger after firing their head coach in the middle of the season. So for people to think that this is going to solve the problem, I'm not sure. I thought it was a weird stat, but it was CBS, so I'm assuming it's right. Most teams that fire their head coaches, they're like 1-5, 0-5, not 2-3. So, it could change. All right. For the second piece of news, I'm surprised we don't have tears coming out of someone's eyes on this set. So I'm going to throw it to you first, Jamie. The New England Patriots have decided to start rookie quarterback Drake May. I do feel bad because this is the end of the Jacoby Brissett era at another stop. What do you think overall? Is this a good time, bad time?
Yeah, I think it's a good time.
Pissed off?
Yeah, no, I saw this coming. I think in a previous show I said, don't draft Brissett, go after May. He'll start eventually. I didn't think it was going to be this early. But yeah, no, I think it's going to actually help the offense a little bit. He'll still be running for his life, but he's got the power to do it. So I like Drake May in 2 quarterback leagues. I'd start him as a super flex just for his rushing upside.
Yeah, Jordan, what do you think?
I think it was the right time. They were trying to save him from the tough matchups that they had earlier in the season with, the Niners, the Jets, and stuff like that. They wanted to keep him away from that. So the Texans aren't an easy defense, but they had seen enough of Brissett, man. He reached his ceiling with the offense. He's a guy who needs a bunch of weapons, and they didn't have that, so he was already limited. You got to see what the kid has. I think it'll give the offense some juice, much needed juice. He still won't be, a stud with the weapons that they have, but I think he'll show you that the weapons aren't as bad as they look with Brissett. So I think it's the right time. I think you definitely can use him as a third quarterback on a super flex team. You fill in for a bye week or two. I think this first start may be rough. Once he, because it's just for a rookie quarterback, it'll be rough. But I think moving forward, he'll be serviceable. And some of those weapons may be serviceable on a given bye week to fill in.
Reggie, what do you think about this? And also because your dynasty background and just fantasy background, what wide receiver does this help the most?
I think this helps them all. They've reached that point in the season where they're switching over the signal caller, and Drake May is going to bring something to the table that the Kobe just don't have, and that's the threat of running. And the defense are going to have to respect that. So that's going to open up some passing lanes if he can be creative with it. And the pedigree, not just draft capital. Drake May comes from a long history of athletes, and he's getting his shot. So he's been able to sit back for 5 games and just case study what it should look like, and imagine in his mind how much better he can be to this offense and to this franchise. I know he's going to come into this situation thinking, I'm never giving this job up again.
Oh no, he's not. Brissett is now the backup. I mean, that's just it. Instead of giving my take, I'm going to throw a couple of these up here. Let's go really quick around the horn, just what side you would take. I'm going to throw this one up first since this one's gotten some chatter in the chat. I'll read it out loud just so you guys can look at it. Pick a side: Dynasty, 2 QB, Caleb, Dobbins, and Pollard, or Marv, K9, and Levis.
I think I'm going to take the Marv side. You might even be able to get a 3rd round rookie pick thrown in on that one, just because you're going to Levis. But Marv, man, I mean, there's dynasty leagues, 2 quarterbacks that I was thinking taking Marv over Caleb, and I don't want Dobbins and Pollard on my team.
Not in dynasty. I'm going Marv and K9 too.
Reg,
Who's K9 for Grandpa?
Kenneth Walker.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I mean, he's got top 5 upside for dynasty too. So
I'm going that side.
I mean, this will give my answer away. In multiple leagues, I took Marvin over Caleb.
Yeah,
and without spoiling much, there will be more talk about K9 in a bit. So yes, that's the answer on that one. Here, one more before we get into the next piece of news. We'll just do this one and then we'll keep going. Should I trade McLaurin for Cooper Kupp? There is no dynasty redraft, blah, 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 added to this, so we don't know. But in a vacuum, McLaurin or Kupp, we could go both ways, I guess, if we need to.
If I am 4-1, 3-2, I'll make it and wait. Depending, I'll trade McLaurin for Kupp and wait for Kupp to come back. If I need wins now, I'm gonna keep McLaurin, obviously.
I'm in agreement with you. If it's redraft, dynasty changes a little bit, but in redraft, I 1,000% agree with you. Anybody else differ?
Nah,
I want Kupp. He's coming back not this week, but next week possibly. Correct?
Yeah, the hope is week 7. So
right,
and he's such a difference maker, especially in that offense. So give me Kupp.
And Puka might not be ready till
I don't think he's going to be ready for a while. All right, so for the next piece of news, the next 2 pieces of news both have to do with Monday night. So we'll get into the first one. This one's the bigger one. I mean, it's a big one in general. Derek Carr got hurt last night, oblique injury. Looks like he's going to be week to week. Am I right, boys? Am I got that right, week to week?
Mm-hmm.
The other piece of news.
Multiple weeks.
Yeah, multiple weeks. The other piece of news that I saw late this afternoon was there's reports that it's not going to be Jake Haener at quarterback. Let's go Spencer Rattler season. So I am actually going to throw it to Jordan first, and we all know why. Jordan, you're down there. What do you think about this? What's this do for the team? We'll get to the actual Monday Night Football game in a second. But him being out, being 2-3 now, is this the right move for Rattler? I know how you feel about him, but just in general, what's your opinion?
So I thought it was weird that Rattler has been the third QB, and now they're gonna jump Hayner to start him. I think that's always weird, but that's what the fans want. Obviously, Rattler has looked good in some of the preseason action that he's had. The fans want Rattler. Like everybody that I know and talk to, they want him. He's more explosive. Obviously, they want to give him a shot. I think this is the right move for the team. I don't think. Depending on how long Carr is going to be out, I don't know if they're going to make a run at the playoffs or anything anyway. This division is tougher than we all anticipated, with like a couple of teams winning more games than we thought. So they're going to be in a crunch. I think they want to see the more electrifying player get a chance, because Hayner, I don't know what to expect from him. I don't think anybody knows. That's why they're going to skip him to go with Rattler. But I like this for them. I thought they would go with Hayner, but I'm glad that they're deciding to try and go with the upside, which is Rattler. I think that may help Olave, who's been inconsistent. Shaheed has been Carr's guy so far, so maybe that changes a little bit with Rattler. But we'll see. I like the move for them.
Reggie, what do you think about Carr being out and just the team aspect?
Being reminded of how awesome or how Carr hasn't been on the IR his whole entire career. I don't know how that is with the injuries he's received. It's been towards the end of the year, but I think an asterisk should be put next to that because he has had a couple of serious injuries. But he's an Iron Man, so he's going to come back sooner than later, I'm pretty sure. And he was saying in the game that if he could have took a shot, he was going back in, but it wasn't enough time. Just to say that just tells you what kind of character he has, and he's strong in faith, so he'll be back soon. I say throw Jake Hayner out there, prove to everybody and even yourself that he's not it before you give the opportunity to Spencer Rattler, just for shoots and giggles. And earlier in the preseason, it was said to be Jake Hayner was going to be the backup for now, and then he had, I think, some kind of skin issue on his face, and that's what they were talking about, putting up Spencer Rattler. But Rattler hasn't been active. Keep that energy for now. Throw Jake Hayner in there. He's been your number 2. Run with that and see what you got.
So, Jamie, they played this Sunday. Then they play Thursday night in the Sean Payton revenge game. So they got 2 games coming up pretty quick. Besides missing Carr, like, give your take on Carr, but we got a split decision down here. Who are you starting if you are the Saints?
I think it's got to be Rattler time. Put him in there, see what he got. If he fails, then throw Hayner in there. But, you can't really do much worse. Like, Carr hasn't been doing much for Olave, so let's see if he can get the Rattler can get Olave going. But I just keep picturing that graphic you made with Carr, and then you had the Undertaker in the background, wasn't it? With the Rattler just waiting behind him.
Like, I need to put that one back out.
Yeah. So, yeah. Give it to Rattler. See what he got.
Yeah. That injury is weird, too, because he said it wasn't the hit. It was the throw. It means a core injury. They're not being given very much details.
They're just saying oblique. That's all.
Oblique. And those zap you. So what will be coming back, I don't know his age, but that was weird. He said it happened on the throw, like a hernia or something, a herniated disc. I didn't think oblique.
Yeah, I think he pulled a muscle.
Yeah, it lingers longer than they like. It's not like a hamstring type of lingering, but it's like any little thing could kind of tweak it. So.
Yeah. Bean King, we will talk about Tracy a little bit later, so that'll be we'll get to that. I just don't want to bring that up since we are talking about it. But I know this got brought up. Oh, no, not that one. I'll bring that up in a second. Thinking about having to start Drake May on your fantasy team, RIP. Like Jamie said, I disagree in Superflex. I think that'll be okay. All right, let's get
got that Josh Allen upside if you think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Let's get into the Monday Night Football. We're 19 minutes into the show. We got to talk about my team. 26-13 without Rashee Rice, who looks like it's going to be an LCL injury. so he could be out for most of the year. Juju was on fire. Here are some of the big numbers. 26-13. Mahomes, 331 yards, 28 for 39, no touchdowns. One interception by the brother of the backup dancer to Taylor Swift. If I have to hear one more time on TV about that connection, I am done. Kareem Hunt, 27 carries for 102 yards. But here it is. Kelsey didn't get into the end zone. However, finally back on track, 9 catches, 70 yards. Juju, 7 catches for 130 yards. Worthy, 3 for 25, and the touchdown on the run handed off to by Travis Kelsey. Travis Kelsey has that freaking lateral to freaking P. Ryan on 3rd and 22, gets it to a half yard. I was literally yelling at my TV, what the F are you doing? Carr, 165 and 2 TDs. Kamara didn't do diddly squat on the ground or really in the air. 6 for 40, that's decent. But like you brought up, Jordan, I have to bring this up because he is on my SFB roster. Rashid Shaheed, 4 catches, 86 yards and a touchdown. And the other touchdown was Foster Moreau, the former Raider. 2 catches, 13 yards and a tutty. Thoughts about the game? What's your takeaway, Jamie? Go.
Real quick, I'll make mine quick. I just didn't understand, where was Justin Watson? He's been seeing like 2 to 4 targets per game every game since like 2022. He even had like an 11 target game last year. Now at Rice Out, you would think, oh, we're going to get Justin Watson involved or at least keep his same role, but he was just nowhere near. So I actually had to start him in a league. That pissed me off. 0 targets. I don't even think he saw the field.
Well, the interesting thing is, like, he was one of the top route runners in the game. He just never got a target. So that's unfortunate. I started him in a couple leagues too. I was pissed about that.
I started him too. I think Juju is the reason.
Yeah, Josh, Juju looks like he has a little bit of that Rashee Rice role with the crossers and the intermediate stuff. He did well. He was the reason why Mahomes got the pick, though. He dropped it in the end zone and then it popped up. But overall, I thought this was like Mahomes' highest yardage game. They find ways to be productive so far this season.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, not in his career so far this season, but like,
I knew what you meant.
Okay, but yeah, they just find ways to be productive. Kelsey coming alive, I like that. They have no choice at this point without the main guys. I think they're still trying to figure out the wavelength with Worthy. A couple of crossing routes didn't connect on him. He was wide open on him. Mahomes just sometimes some of the throws he's making right now, it's just not him. It doesn't feel like him. And until they get those things ironed out, it'll be, 25 ugly looking games that we don't like to see, but they're going to win because they're just better than everybody else.
Reggie.
Patrick Mahomes, I got an offer for Josh Allen earlier today, and I turned it down for Patrick Mahomes. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
It doesn't look right. I have hope for Travis Kelsey, and that offense is better looking on the surface, but it was a little sloppy. They got some luck going, but it was entertaining. The score, it seemed like the game was closer than what it was.
Yeah. All right. So I'm not going to go on as much of a rant about Jordan and Jamie. You know more than Reggie knows that when the Chiefs play on a Monday night and we got to do a show on a Tuesday night, I'm usually going ape crap on a good, or I'm yelling at them, telling them to get their head out of their rear end. They're not doing something, blah, blah, blah. This is what I'm going to say. Everybody is completely right about this offense. You don't know who it's going to be. Juju this, like you're saying, Reggie, you don't know what I agree with about Mahomes, but you don't know about, or I agree with what you're saying about Kelsey. Mahomes isn't doing great. Like Jordan, some of those couple throws with Worthy, I looked at one and I thought he was going to go yell at him on the sideline. I was just like, dude, like you threw it like at his kneecap, but I didn't know. But I didn't know if Worthy was supposed to stop or Worthy was supposed to go to the out. Like I didn't know what was supposed to happen. I blame this on one thing. I have a solution. I know you guys know the solution. I'm blaming this all on one thing, but it's not a bad thing for NFL. It's a bad thing for fantasy. Their defense is finally no longer a dumpster fire. It's finally no longer a bend and break. You have the secondary with McDuffie and Watson and Reed and my namesake. I'll just say it. You got Jalen Hicks back there who's finally, who's doing decent. And then you got Tranquil, and Nick Bolton is finally healthy this year. He's been hurt all year, and you saw what he did last night. Not to mention the Greek Freak. Yes, the other Greek Freak, Red Jordan. I know you're a basketball guy, so I'm going to say the other Greek Freak. And then you got Chris Jones, who was blowing up holes all night. When you don't have to worry about scoring 40 points because your defense isn't going to give up 38, you can run Kareem Hunt, who is old, 27 times. That wasn't efficient. But as long as he's not doing stupid stuff outside of the football field anymore, I don't care. And now you have CEH coming back in like a week or so. I have a feeling it's going to eat into freaking Steele because of that trick play that he's goofed up on. Ryan has not been what I even thought he could be, so who knows? I know I rambled a little bit, but that's what I really need to say.
I'd say this. Anybody who will bite, I'd sell Kareem Hunt kind of high right now.
Oh, I'd sell him high in a minute.
I don't know about that. Think about this. He don't have a Super Bowl. He missed out, didn't he? He left the year
he's
before.
An idiot. You know, I was at his last game. I was at his last game before he freaking screwed up.
There's a bye this week. He gets to get fresh legs again. You might be able to get a couple more weeks, at least one more, because he don't have a Super Bowl. He could be almost done after this year. I think they brought him back on a 1 year. Maybe he's playing for another 1 year deal, but he is going to play. He looked like 27 carries. How long can he do it for in that offense? Come on, man.
I'm not buying that. They use the different running backs too many times, and they're using him now because he's fresh, but he ain't gonna be fresh much longer. CEH
one more week.
CEH is coming back. He's gonna be the fresh guy. So I think they're gonna use him interchangeably.
All right, so let's get into it. It's time for Real or Fake. I'm kind of disappointed here because I get it, but I was not expecting for me to have to introduce Real or Fake with the black and silver. So, Jamie, take it away.
Yeah, so we all know the tight end position has been so volatile this year. But Brock Bowers, he's the real deal. He's the most talented weapon they got in that offense right now because Devontae Adams is going to be leaving out of town. They're going to need to rely on Bowers early and often, honestly. I can see him having multiple tight end 1 games going forward. I got him at number 1 overall in Dynasty. I had him number 2 going into the season just because of Laporta. But now, I can't not put him at number 1. I don't know about you guys, but he is my number 1 in Dynasty going forward. He could run the ball. They could play him all over the field. He's going to be a target monster. And I just don't see it. I could see him outscoring tons of receivers, and that's why he's real for me.
I'm going to go throw it to you first, Reggie, because you have it in the background.
Let's go, Raiders.
Do you agree, disagree? Do you agree or disagree about the traders?
I think it's the real deal. His quarterback situation is not going to do nothing but get better after this season. He is what the Raiders stand for. He's an athlete. He's here to stay. He is tight end Dynasty 1. But would he be if Laporta and McBride started off faster? I don't know. But he is a product of his environment. He is a product of his environment. Tight end 1 Dynasty. Book it.
Jordan.
Yeah. I think, Michael Mayer being out also helped the volume for him. And Adams, obviously, as well. I was not sold on him, as you guys know, going into the year because I just thought quarterback play being bad with the other weapons and a rookie tight end. They don't typically start off, fast like this. But I was wrong. They use him all over the place. He's obviously a better athlete than I anticipated. He's a good player. And Carson Beck at Georgia you can see he's not the same without Brock Bowers and Ladd McConkey over there. So obviously they made a difference for them over there. Yeah, I don't know about tight end 1 in Dynasty, but I definitely think top 3 for sure. They got to do something with that quarterback position. I got to see. They got to show me a long-term solution next year.
All right, Jamie, you stole mine on this one. I didn't tell you this, but you stole mine. So after you, I'm going first because I need to say something. Jamie, who is your fake?
Yeah, my fake is Alec Pierce. Like, he only got 3 targets, 134 yards, and that touchdown. People are going to be point chasing this one, and they're going to put him in the lineup. They're going to be disappointed when he gets you only like 4 or 5 points, and then you're just going to drop him right again. He doesn't have another great matchup until I thought it was week 9, and who knows if even Richardson's going to be throwing him the ball at that point. I don't want to start him if Richardson's in there. Like, I only want to start these people if Flacco's the quarterback. Like Downs got 12 targets. Pittman, I think he got 8 or 9. Mitchell got over 10. Mo Cox and Trey Sermon even got more targets than Pierce. So if he doesn't catch those balls, like, he ain't getting those points. And who's to say that he's going to get a touchdown again? This is his biggest game, and I don't see him putting up even half these amount of points going forward, and that's why he's fake for me.
All right. So you're probably wondering if I was going to put him at fake or real. When I saw you put him down, I was like, God dang it, I wanted to use him. This is so fake. This is faker than Dolly Parton's plastic surgery. I mean, this is bad. Yes, he's going to have the couple big bomb plays. I get it. But I don't think they're going to stick with Joe Flacco. I know me and you disagree about AR-15. You know I love the guy. I just don't think they're going to stick with Flacco. He's not going to – I don't think Pierce isn't going to be sustainable. You got Pittman there. We talked about – I know I got there late because I slept in for once this last week when you were on the show with Kyle, and I brought up Pittman in the chat. I think Pittman, throughout the year, AD Mitchell is going to do a little bit more. I just don't see, like you said, I think it's going to be sporadic. What's your favorite form of fantasy football, Jamie? You might say it's dynasty, but me and Jordan and Reggie all know that it's best ball. And Pierce is the only way I want Pierce on my team is best ball or very deep leagues. Jordan, are we wrong?
No, you're right. It's fake. We talked about him earlier in the year when he caught that pass from AR. Like, it's just lack of targets, too many other weapons who are better. I just don't see it being sustainable.
Yeah, just for example, like, I have one league. He's on the waiver wire. So is AD Mitchell. I'm not even putting a claim in for either of them, and I think I put a claim in for Bateman over them. That's just why I want nothing to do with them.
Bateman.
Bateman. All right, Reggie.
I think I'm the only one that's going to go for real with all the air yards he had from last season, and he has a skill set that he is good at. He does not need a lot of targets like an aforementioned Josh Downs. As long as the Donovan Mitchell is on the back of a milk carton, I think this is real. And I am not him, but he seems to be quarterback proof because he only needs a couple of them long shots or an opportunity a couple of times to produce.
All right.
Not my kind of guy, but he has a job on his team.
All right, Jordan. Let's see here. I just want to make sure. All right. This is the one you stole from me, Jordan. Take it away, Mr. Cowboy.
So, so the only reason why I'm bringing this guy up is because he just basically filled in for somebody else I was high on to start the year, and that's Jalen Tolbert. I think his performance was real. Anybody who steps into that number 2 receiver role for the Cowboys, it's a valuable role. He showed it. He started to come on even when Cooks was healthy, but now Cooks has that knee infection. He's going to be. They put him on IR, so he's going to miss at least 3 more games. Tolbert stepped in. Everybody's gonna shade their coverages to shut CD down. If Tolbert continues to show that he can get open, he can make plays, Dak is gonna keep feeding him. So, I don't see this stopping on a team that they ran the ball a lot more on Sunday night, but they're still not really that effective. They don't really want to do it. They paid the quarterback $60 million. They're gonna let him put it on his shoulders. And so what better way than to have the number 2 weapon on a team that's going to throw it 45, 50 times a game on a given night.
Reggie, what do you think about Tolbert? And then I'll go.
I think it's real. Body language is a thing. CD and Dak don't seem to be, best brothers fight. But what was that CD mouth to Dak?
Jump ball. I got you.
Okay. So it wasn't bad, but it just seems like he didn't get a target for a while. But it's just one of those things that I think, like you said, this role is valuable. They're gonna be in shootouts because their defense is wounded right now, and it's wheels up for Jalen Tolbert. He has the experience, year 3, coming out of small school. This is his time to shine. I think it's real.
All right. So before I throw it to your fake, Jordan, he was going to be my waiver wire pickup. And then I saw that you put him as real. I do think he's real with Cookout. And the main reason is what you brought up. And that is the fact that they're going to sling this ball around all year long, if you like it or not. They're paying Dak for a reason. They don't really, yes, Dowdle had he had a good game. He had over 20 points fantasy. But Zeke is looking like he had too many bowls of cereal. He's not looking great. Dowdle has had one good game and needs to show. I mean, I agree with the fact that I thought Dowdle was going to be decent, but he hasn't shown it sustainably yet. He's going to be the number 2 wide receiver. He might not be the number 2 target because you still got I can't think of his first name. Ferguson. So, yes, he could be the thing. Now, I am interested in this next one, Jordan, because I did not expect this to be on the show sheet.
So I may contradict myself because of what I said later in the episode. But Tank Bigsby is my fake, only from the standpoint of his production the last couple of weeks have come from long runs. He's still playing less of the snaps than Travis Etienne, and he's not getting any receiving work on a team that's going to be trailing a lot because their defense sucks. They were in a close game this past week, so he was able to break. I think he broke a 65-yard run, which kind of did all the scoring for him. Doug Peterson is still saying, Etienne is our guy. Etienne is getting the more valuable touches, which are the receptions. He had like 8-9 targets or something like that, 6 catches or something like that. That saved his day because he didn't look good rushing the ball. Tank Bigsby has looked like the better rusher. But again, on a team that's going to be trailing a lot, I don't know how valuable that is if he doesn't score a touchdown. So he's nothing in the pass game. And so, you got to hope that they stay close every week. And with a team that looks broken like that, I don't know how likely that is.
Jamie, me and you have had argument after argument after argument about the Jacksonville Jaguars in general.
Yeah.
So that's one reason I saved this for you. Yes, no, maybe so.
I think it's fake too. I don't want nothing to do with Bigsby. Someone offered me a Bigsby. I don't even know what the offer was. As soon as I saw Bigsby, I just hit decline. I don't want him on my team. The ETN, I think he had a shoulder issue during the game. So that's why he was on the sideline for most of it. But it's still ETN's backfield. I don't want anything to do with Bigsby.
I got to set this up so I don't look like a fool later on. When I say he's a fake, it's only from a standpoint of being the number 1 running back in fantasy for the week.
I know.
He's still serviceable, just don't expect those type of numbers.
I'm so mad at you right now because I was going to tee it up later. Damn you! All right, Reggie. What is your take on Bigsby? And then roll right into your reel.
I kind of agree with that. I think fake, as in temper expectations. I think you'll be able to plug him and play him in a sense of Bucky Irvin. You can kind of get away with playing Bucky in a matchup. So hopefully, I don't think we have that later.
Nope.
Just fake with an asterisk.
Yes.
And we're going to roll right into my next one. And how you like that? It was exciting. I'm saying Kirk Cousins is real. He's vintage Kirk. He's a little bit more. He's doing his best Matt Ryan impersonation because he's not moving as well, but he's making a Ray, making people say Ray name, Mooney name. We had a couple of. Did we have 2 touchdowns last week from Pitts? Things are evolving. They're playing. London is getting slot snaps and stuff. Like, can we get Bijan the ball though? I think Kirk Cousins is only going to keep getting better and more comfortable in his skin and producing kind of like this. This is what we knew this offense could be, and it might not be going nowhere.
Jamie.
Yeah, no, I mean, he's looking good. He's helping the other offensive players on the team. So I agree. He is real, man. We saw him in primetime last week or 2 weeks ago, and he sucks in primetime, but he put up a monster game. I don't think he's going to do consistently every week in the top 10. But, yeah, no, he's definitely serviceable.
Is he going to finish in the top 10? Jordan, will he finish in the top 10 this week? Don't look at – if you know who they're playing, fine. If not, don't look.
I'm going to go ahead on and say yes, just because we got some bye weeks, and he's looking like he's on a roll. So I'm gonna say yes.
He's playing Carolina, baby.
Oh,
let's go, Kirko! Let's go, Kirko!
I remember. I was like, I know they ain't playing nobody too tough, but I didn't remember exactly. But yeah, wheels up for Kirk and that offense. Hopefully, Bijan gets involved a little bit more.
Don't get me started on that. So, Reggie, I can't remember who it is. Who's your fake?
My fake is T. Higgins. And I had to, I said, I go around the community and I asked them, and this was somebody said that this was their real. And I was just like, we went back and forth for a second. But after I gave them a couple of left, rights, and hooks and uppercuts, I told them I once said not too long ago, I valued T. Higgins more than Jamar Chase. But yes, I think T. Higgins, unless the Bengals are going to be passing the ball 50 times a game, and in that game script, it won't be consistent enough for you to depend on games like that. Will he do that from time to time? Yes. But consistently? Nah, I don't think so. I think it's fake.
All right, I'm going to go the reverse way. Jordan, what do you think about T. Higgins?
I got to disagree, man. I believe in T. I believe in this offense, particularly Joe Burrow and the way that they're going to be passing the ball. I mean, they're 1-4 right now. The way to get wins with that defense is to throw it, sling it around. Chase can't get everything. So, yeah, I think – now, will he get 80 yards and 2 tugs every week? No. But, I think – and he won't be the lead target getter every week either. But, I think if he's getting 10 targets, he can make something shake with that on this offense with this quarterback. So, yeah, I believe in him. I think he can finish. I think he'll be, a top 24 receiver when it's all said and done if he stays healthy. So, yeah, I believe in him. I just don't believe in the massive game that he had this weekend.
Jamie.
Yeah, no, he fake as he's not going to put up 30 points every week for us. But I could see that top 24, like Jordan said. I mean, he's talented. He could be a number 1 receiver on a lot of other teams. So I think he's a real player, just not that 30-point game type of player. So, yeah, I agree to disagree in a way.
All gravy. Can we break the seal on passing offense this week? I think we'll come back to earth to the rushing leaders, and we just had a good week last week. Of the passing numbers, are they coming back? I hope so.
Okay, so I'll give a little. Instead of giving my take on T, I'll give you my take on that real quick, and then we'll go into mine. You're 100% right, and I honestly think it's something that we've brought up over and over in the fantasy community, in the NFL community, whatever. It's a freaking byproduct of not having preseason. I think where we used to get week 2 where everything, I think it's going to be week 4, week 5, and especially when guys are dinged up or miss a game here or there. For instance, Higgins was out. So it's going to take a little bit. It's going to take another week for him to, get on par with Burrow. Chase didn't practice all frickin' summer, so it's going to take a little bit longer to get on par. And when you only have the 2 preseason games, that's what it's going to be.
Great
all right.
point.
So, yeah. So for my reel, I am going with Najee Harris. And I don't mean this in a good way.
Okay, right.
This is real. He ended up as RB30 on the week. And we did not draft him as RB30. I'm not saying I drafted him as RB1, RB2 on the season, but I did not think that he would be RB30 range. He finished with 9.7 points. The week before was 10.3. He's had a 13.6, but then 8.4 and 8.9 all the way back to the beginning of the season. And that's with Warren not even being suited up. This is what it's going to be. I don't think he's going to end up in the top 24 now. It doesn't make me very happy because I do have him on a few teams. I wasn't all in on him like some people were. But overall, he's been a disappointment. This offense has kind of been off and on, lukewarm, however you want to call it. I mean, let's be real here. We'll talk a little bit numbers a little bit later with Reggie. But, Jamie, I messaged you. Justin Fields only rushed for 27 yards and cost me money. He can go kick rocks. That was the only leg of my higher lowers for Underdog that didn't hit on that night card. So, but overall, Najee Harris just needs to get it going a little bit. I don't think he will in this offense, and I think it's the offense's problem. Is it Arthur? I don't think so. I think it's literally just the pieces there. Reggie, you got a weird look on your face. I don't know if it's because of what I'm saying or not, but even if it's not, you're going first.
Najee, I think I will be buying for the low. Psst, I'll take your Najee's because if you look at Najee since he's been in the league, he's a second half of the season back. And if you're going to give me him at a discount and I'm on a winning team, I think he can turn it around and be more than just serviceable, at least still a RB2 down the stretch. I would take interest after their bye. I don't know when that is, but I don't want to go after him, or maybe on his bye, I can get him cheap and then get him coming out of his bye. But he will be one of my targets.
Gotcha. Jamie.
Yep. I mean, if he's only averaging 3 yards a carry, if he gets 15 carries a game with that 4 yards a carry, yeah, I would be more interested. He is getting some targets. I can see him having some RB 14, 15, 16 weeks. But yeah, no, outside the top 20 for sure. I have him in one league. I don't even start him. I don't even know who I got. I think I got Montgomery in that league that I start over him. And I think I started Dobbins over him a few times before I sold him. So yeah, I'm not really interested in starting him. But yeah, I agree with Reggie. You can buy low on him for the later half of the season if he stays healthy.
I'll look up his splits in the second half of the year. Maybe he plays better code. I don't know what it is, but it is alarming, his second half season stats.
Well, they run the ball more probably in the winter, so that could be it.
Jordan, real quick, what do you think about Najee?
So many thoughts. One, this is a textbook reel for someone who has just underperformed, it seems like, at every turn. He's averaging 3.9 yards a carry for his career. He's averaging 3.3 yards per carry this year. and Arthur Smith hasn't had a chance to be full on Arthur Smith and use 3 running backs at the same time. So when Jalen Warren and Cordell Patterson are fully healthy, they're going to be eating into the work, splitting up. The offense is settling for field goals way too much. I don't see that changing. So the touchdown potential isn't there for a guy that's averaging 3 yards a carry and splitting with 2 other guys. I don't want no part of that. I don't see it getting much better either. So he definitely a textbook real. And Reggie, if I had a lot of shares of Najee, you could have them all because I'm out.
All right, so I'm not going to look at you guys for a minute because I'm going to go to another screen. But my fake, so I don't know what the reactions are going to be in a second, but my fake is Kenneth Walker, KW9 for the youngsters, not Reggie. No, but let's see what you guys think, because I know when I put Najee as a real and then I said why, you guys were like, oh, I get it. So here's where I'm going with KW9 before I go to the other screen. He finished his RB15 in week 5. He missed weeks 2 and 3. I understand that. So here's where I'm going. Ken Walker III had 67% of the snaps. In week 1, he had 56% of the snaps, and in week 4, he had 59% of the snaps. They did not run the ball as much because even though it was 67% of the snaps, it was only 39. He had 5 attempts for 19 yards. Not very good. 8 targets for 7 receptions, 57 yards, 8.1 yards per reception. In week 4, he had 4 catches on 5 targets for 36 yards, which was 9 yards a reception. As of right now, he is, let me go back to it because I have it right here. Come on, I thought I had it right here. He is on points per game. Yes, it's only 3 games, but on points per game, he is 22.4 points per game, 18.9 in week 1, 33.6 in week 4, and 14.6 in week 5. So now I'm going to come back on camera to see your guys' face when I say this. Yes, he was RB15 on the week. The reason I say fake is, to me, Giants had a good game. I think RB15 is way too low for him for the rest of the year. I think he's proving that he's going to finish as a top 6 back.
Yep, 100% agree. I think, what was it, last week or the week before? He was one of my buys. I actually bought him in a couple leagues. They only ran the ball 7 times with the running backs. So he got 5
that was horrible.
Yeah. But yeah, he did get those 7 catches. Definitely helped him. Give him 15 carries a game, a touchdown here and there. I have him as a top 5 in Dynasty right now. And that was one of my bold bold prediction show.
Yeah, I remember him. I don't remember what it was, but I remember he was on your bold.
Yeah, I said he could be a top 5 by this time next year in Dynasty, and I truly believe that. So top 6 in redraft, Mike. Yeah, 100%. Do it.
Jordan.
I agree. I do think it was a fake. The Giants got out on them. They didn't anticipate that, so then they threw the catch up. I love this offense for Seattle as a whole. Has Geno looking really good. And, the Charbonnet thing hasn't really been a threat. So as long as that stays the way it is, definitely wheels up.
Mr. Reg.
I agree as well. The fact that we're getting a little bit of Sharp and it's not affecting K-Dub and he's able to fill in during injury, I think this is real. I would buy some. This offense, I really like this offense.
So the one thing that I will add to my point, just because I remembered it after Jamie brought it up about the running, the lack of running. Last year when the passing game was working, it was more Charbonnet. The fact that they're using KW9 in the passing game, like you said, Jamie, is only a plus that we're going to get. It's not something that we normally see. All right, so that is real or fake. Sometimes you need to trade in redraft. Sometimes you need to trade in dynasty. I'll be honest. I got a team that's 0-5. If you're listening to this and I'm in this league and you're in this league with me, come by everybody. Jamie, buy and sell. Who you got this week?
Yeah, so my buy is a running back. And before I start, I want to give a shout out to Kyle Senra in the chat, the number 2 overall ranker for running backs this year on Fantasy Pros. That's
number
very
2
impressive.
this year?
Number 2 out of like 192 people.
Yeah,
but my buy is Bijan Robinson. May seem obvious to some. Others are like, well, why? Because he's not doing anything. Because this is the lowest you're ever going to get him right now. I don't think he's going to get lower than this in redraft and dynasty. He's still a top 5, top 6 running back for me just in redraft this year. Dynasty, I still have him as like 1 or 2. So I think people have the recency bias, right? They're going to look at his points. They're going to be like, okay, well, I'm going to sell him because I want points on my roster. He's not getting me points. Well, those people aren't patient enough. So go buy him in dynasty, go buy him in redraft, see what you can get. I just offered, I think it was McConkey and a first for Bijan. The person's thinking about it. So what would you guys do with Bijan in redraft or dynasty?
So I was listening to a podcast today, and they were talking about in general, not just about Bijan, about sometimes the price is purely on is the name part. And they were talking about Garrett Wilson too. I know we're not talking about Garrett, so I'll bring it up. And they were talking about selling Garrett partially because part of the value is in the name. If you take away the name and you put just the stats, you're not going to be able to get as much for him, whatever. I think it would be hard to buy him because of that, because people are going to want to pay more than I'd be willing to pay. But if I could pull this trigger on a buy low, or someone that's like kind of sick of him because they, did buy it, especially in redraft where they did, or even a start where you top 5 pick or whatever the case may be, I would do this in a second, because I do think towards the end of the year, especially if they're going to make the playoffs, like I think they will, and I think we talked about this too, towards the end of the year, I think he's going to be involved more, especially when they do have to go outside a little bit, because they're the only team. I mean, yeah, them and the Saints, but they're still going to have to go outside and play a little bit. So I think Bijan will be used in those games. Reggie, what do you think about Bijan, bud?
I don't know if I can buy unless I can get a discount.
Yeah.
And where I have them, I'm not selling. It's just I don't think I'm going to get what I want for them. Even with a dip, I don't know. Like you said, it's the name cachet. I would buy, but I'm not paying 2 first rounders.
All right, Jamie. I think this one's going to cause a little bit of controversy with the bottom row. So when you give this one, I don't know which way it's going to go with one of them. I think I know which way it's going to go with Reggie. But once you give this, I'm going to let Jordan go. I'm going to let Reggie go, and I'm just going to let it be. So go ahead, sir.
All right, yeah, I'm selling Tucker Kraft. Like I said before, the recency bias. Like Kraft right now is currently the 2nd tight end overall, I believe. I don't think that's going to be consistent. I don't think he's going to keep it up. In Dynasty, I got him for free during the drafts, or like late 4th round. I remember in almost all my leagues, I stayed away from. I said I'm not taking Musgrave because I am getting the better guy a round later at a discount. And
okay, stop. I got to give you one. I got to get on you about one thing. It wasn't because he was a good value. Jordan, you know where I'm going with this. I don't think Reggie understands yet. You only bought Tucker Kraft because his athletic profile, and we freaking know it.
Well, yeah, that is true. I thought it was like situation with like the Hayden Hurst, Mark Andrews, But yeah, so I moved him up in my tight end rankings in Dynasty. I think I have him at tight end like 15, 16 right now. I just sold him straight up for Mark Andrews. I still have Mark Andrews in the top 10. So that's just how you see the recency bias. Like people are trying to get rid of Andrews because he put up 0 points. They don't know about his car accident. So Tucker Kraft got Mark Andrews. What do you guys think about that? What are you doing with them in redraft and dynasty? Keeping them or selling them?
Go Packer.
In Dynasty, I mean, it depends on obviously what you can get. I'd be looking to sell them, but the Mark Andrews thing was nice. Definitely can take advantage of people who are just chasing the points. As far as for redraft, tight end is so bad right now that you might just have to keep them just because you don't know what you're getting from anybody else. I mean, tight end is it's a fickle position. And you need to have one. So I think he's going to continue to get targets on his team. I mean, Wicks got Wicks got opportunities, couldn't haul him in. Love is starting to trust Kraft more and more. I know one of his plays was a long catch and run, stiff arm. He showed that athleticism in that touchdown run. I give you that. But I think in redraft I'm looking to keep him, but in Dynasty, if I can get something better, for sure I'm always looking to sell.
Reg.
I got to update my timelines. I know last year I got a bunch of Tucker Craft, and today I planted my flag in the wrong Green Bay tight end with Luke Musgrave. I've been pounding the table all off season. Jordan brought it up last week, so I'm having buyer remorse. So I am buying Tucker Craft because I was so wrong previously and picked the wrong guy. So let me tell you guys, last night, I'm 4-1, and I'm trying to buy Tucker Craft, but the guy who has Tucker Craft is 0-5, and he's like, I'm selling it for him. I'm selling everything. I was like, let me give you a second for Tucker. He was like, no, I'm taking a first. I'm like, I ain't giving you a first for Tucker Craft. I'm like, fine, keep him. I needed a tight end. I've been starting Tyler Cotton and K. Otten all year, and I've just got lucky so far. So I'm like, I'm getting Tucker Craft. He wanted to be a whatever. I was like, I'm gonna move on. Let me see. And I just put T. Higgins on the trade block. Instantly, I get a trade, and it was okay, but I was like, that don't help my team. I need a tight end. And right back, the same person, and they are the worst team in the league-ish. And they offered me my T. Higgins for Mark Andrews, a first and a second. I was like, smash accept. And then I sent that first to the guy for Tucker Craft. So now I have Mark Andrews and Tucker Craft. And everybody's like, and the guy who gave me that deal said, oh, maybe I overpaid, because I instantly sent his first away for the person I actually wanted when I wanted to go trade. That happened.
I mean, it's nice you got a discount on the first trade, but I still think you way overpaid. I wouldn't even
ask for a second back.
Mid-second. Like I would say like a later second for Kraft would probably be his value.
It's valued at the 110. It wasn't that guy's first. And I should have asked for a second back because I bet you he would have gave it to me. I really wanted to reverse my wrongs I was pot committed on getting Tucker Craft in that league.
All right, Jordan. I saw what you put for randomness of the week, and I do think this needs to be brought up in general in the fantasy community. So take it away.
Just real quick, just the state of the running back position currently compared to what we were anticipating in the draft season. I mean, Jamie talked about buying Bijan because of the dip, and like Bijan was a top 3, definitely top 6 pick for everyone in redraft. And in Dynasty 1 QB leagues. So, like, he right now in points per game is like RB 24 right now. Breece Hall, also top running back, RB 21 in points per game. McCaffrey, obviously, nobody knew he would miss damn near half the season with an injury that nobody really knew about. So I'm looking at the top running backs right now. Obviously, Saquon is somebody who I was off of, is number 1 running back right now. But then when you look at some of the other guys, Kamara, Ken Walker, Derrick Henry, Kyron, those were guys that we had expectations for, except for Jamie, who hates Kyron. But, Kyron's the number 5 right now. And then you look after that, Montgomery, Mixon, James Cook. Later round guys who are at the top, I just feel like the injuries mixed with the running backs being affected by their quarterback injuries and all these other different people being indirectly affected by injuries has affected the position overall. I feel like looking to trade for a running back has been a disaster in a lot of leagues because everybody is holding on to the one consistent running back they have, and you're trying to scramble to find. It's just been rough overall, the RB landscape. I think it'll get better as the season continues on with Chubb coming in, Jonathan Brooks coming in, maybe, and then McCaffrey hopefully getting healthy. But right now, man, it's hard to make a trade to get a good running back to help teams out. And like you don't want to give any up, but you can't really find anyone to take in either. So what do you guys think overall about, the guys that we had high expectations for at the beginning compared to now, when we see guys like Chuba Hubbard like in the top 15?
Let's go Reggie, then Jamie.
It's a little alarming. A trade went down earlier that was a little lopsided. I went to go look at Josh Jacobs, and he was like in that league. Maybe it's a setting thing, RB22. And I was like, this can't be right. So I need to really take a look at the landscape, because I was like, what?
Yeah, he hasn't scored a touchdown, and on Fantasy Pros, he's RB27 per game. So it's rough. When you don't score a touchdown all year and you barely get target in the receiving game, it's hard to score points.
He's tied with Jerome Ford.
Someone gave up Corum, Addison, and a first for him, and that person is my son. So I had a teaching moment. I was like, bruh, you don't call pops? Like, we could have talked about this.
Yeah, thanks.
Jamie, what do you think about running backs real quick? I know you don't like them. You only like Roshan. You don't like Kyron. You don't like anyone else. So take it away.
Roshan and Blake Corum.
No, I was all over Derrick Henry. He's one of my targets this year. He's doing awesome. Let's see who else. James Cook, I was getting in a few spots. Even like Aaron Jones later, I didn't understand why he was going at like RB 18.
Because he always hurt like he is now.
Yeah. Well, isn't he top 10 right now?
Yeah.
So like same with like the James Conner types, but with the Bijans and the Brees Halls, I think it's going to come back to the means. Like, you just got to be patient. They're still going to end up with those big games. That's still going to put them in the top 5. So just be patient. I wouldn't get rid of them.
We got to think, though, it's hard for a lot of people to be patient when they took these guys with their top picks, so they feel like their season is sunk because of these picks. So you're patient at 0-5, it's season over.
yeah. Once you go sell them, though, that's when they blow up, and the guys that you traded for start going back down. So
that's true.
Here's the problem with that. And I wasn't going to say anything about this take, but I agree with both of you. Here's the problem. And I'm only setting this up so, Jamie, you complete, because I think I know where Jordan's going. I understand where both of you went. Here's the problem. I'm going to point at both of you. The guy down here in the corner, that way, thinks redraft. The ding-dong next to me is thinking more dynasties. So you guys are both right. But redraft players, and that's what Jordan mainly is, if you're not doing good at, like us, like dynasty, like you and Reggie, Jamie, if you're starting to sink at week 6 or 7, you're selling, but you're going, okay, you're thinking bigger picture, where in redraft, it's either now or it don't freaking matter.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, Reggie, speaking about now, never, and not mattering, when you make a pick and you don't think the game is, you pick a higher or lower, and Jamie knows about this one too, and you pick a higher or lower, and you need Derrick Henry to get 82.5 yards, and you need Justin Tucker to have 1.5 field goals, and the game goes into overtime, and you think it's over, and then there's a fumble, and you really think it's over, and then you go into the other room to get a drink, and all you hear is Derrick Henry down the sideline, and then I'm going, don't score. No, score. I have him in Scott Fishbowl. And then he gets tackled, and then they bring out Tucker on first down. Miracles happen. So make some miracles, Reggie. Let's go.
Yes. And don't give up, y'all, if you're out there. I went 1-6 last year, 1 out, and won the championship. It's never too late. But we're going to take it over to our underdog picks of the week. And I got a little prompt for you. Little Rusty. Let's go. Week 6. Underdog. Over under. Brought to you by Going for 2. So I picked 4, and we're going to go Noah Fent, higher than 21.5 yards on the season. He's averaging 62.5 snap percentage weight, and his most productive game came with only 44%. I wanted to take the under, and I would depend on hires on him if Lockett's out or if somebody else is out. But I like that offense. Normally, I would go lower here, but 21.5, he's done that in the last 3 games. I mean, I think Mark Andrews, higher than a half of touchdown, receiving or rushing, is going to happen because he's playing the Commanders. Brian Thomas, I have 0 shares on 39 teams. I think that's a mistake. Watching film and seeing his poor blocking, he ain't going to never have to block anybody higher than 54.5. Give it to me. And I'm going to double down on one of our fakes from last week. I do not think DeAndre Swift will get more than 56.5 rushing yards. And that's because Roshan is coming. That's week 6. Picks of the Weeks brought to you by Going For 2. Can we get that? Don't we got a discount code? Let them know.
We're gonna get to that in a second, but I'm kind of upset right now.
Yeah,
I thought we're gonna get a whole show without talking about Roshan.
Reggie.
I'm like, dang it. You know, I mess up every week.
I thought we had it. We had it. Oh, all right.
We got to get a Roshan jar. Anytime his game is we got to start putting money in there.
So
can I put my 2 cents in real quick?
I'll take
let
Venmo,
me
Jamie.
do the ad, okay, I'm going to do the ad read, and then you can put your 2 cents in.
All right, there we go.
And I'm winging it on this one tonight, but I don't care. But Jamie, as Kyle said on Sunday morning, do your job. All right. Go sign up for Underdog with the promo code GF2, and you will get up to $1,000 in bonus cash right now. It's a great deal. Yes, they still have best ball drafts. It's redemption where you draft for part of the season. You get higher and lower like I do, like Reggie just did. You know, pick 2, pick 3, 4, 5, the bigger your multiplier. And if you do enter Underdog best ball draft in the offseason, Jordan, what, 75% chance?
Yeah,
you're going to be in with Jamie?
By 80%.
Yeah, it's probably an 80% chance you're going to at least be in one with Jamie. So, yeah. But, Jamie, since I let you work, since you worked for a little bit, you earned it.
All right.
I know what you're going to bring up, so go.
Well, I love the Mark Andrews touchdown. It's time. He's going to get it. The Fant, yeah, I do think he can get over that 20, whatever yard, 21 and a half, I think it was. But here's the thing. I'll start with Brian Thomas. You know I love Brian Thomas, right? I hit the parlay. I parlayed 100 yards and a touchdown last week. Nailed it. This week, he is facing the Bears secondary. They are rough. I don't know if he gets that 55 receiving yards this week. That's just hard for me to bet on. I know he's a beast. He can do that in like one play, but that secondary is ruthless. Swift, I'm actually going over on the 56 and a half because he's facing the Jaguars, right?
Right.
They're not giving Roshan more than 35 to 40% of snaps right now. And I just think Swift can like kill that defense. Roshan will just get like the short yard touchdowns, but give Swift over.
There it is. There it is. You had to give the compliment. With the-
give me Swift over the yards and give Roshan a touchdown.
My thought about Noah Fant is over higher too. Thank you for mentioning that. Is the Niners defense. They play on a short week. I thought that will help him. But great point about DeAndre Swift. I just think he'll probably make his hay more in the passing game. And Brian Thomas, correct or wrong, so I don't have any of them. I'm going hard in the paint.
All right, we are at the hour and 13-minute mark, but there's something that has to be done before Cheat of the Week. So I'm leaving it to Jordan. Jordan knows what he has to do.
It's time for Mike's Rant of the Week, and I think it might have something to do with a certain signal caller who had to use smelling salt in the game. Take it away, Mike.
All right. So you are 100% right. But we're getting there in a different direction. The NFL 2 or 3 years ago, I can't remember how many years ago, let a quarterback endanger himself 1 week after getting 1 or 2 weeks after getting a concussion and getting another concussion and having to be ambulanced off the field. And yes, I am talking about Tua. I will mispronounce his last name, so I'm just calling him Tua. That happened to the fact that it screwed the NFL so much up that they had to change rules and do stuff like that. They put the concussion guy up top. If someone sees a concussion, they wheel him off, or they, whistle down and make him come off the field. We all are football fans. We all love tackle football. Yes, it's not the days of back in the day with me and you, Reggie, where Ronnie Lott and Steve Atwater are coming across the middle and taking your head off and all that. That's not what it is anymore, and I understand that. But we still like our game, correct? You got guys like Josh Hines Allen, or Allen, however, Hines Allen, who's wearing the Guardian cap coming off a concussion this year. You're allowed to wear Jamie, your guy in Cleveland, JOK, he's wearing one. Great. Buffalo Bills, you're about to ruin it for the rest of the league again. Josh Allen was pretty much unconscious on the field. He looked like he got hit in the face in a UFC fight and got starched. And hit the ground stiff, woken up by smelling salts, and was out for how many plays? He didn't even go into the locker room.
He missed one. There was like a stoppage. There was a stoppage, and then he went back.
He didn't even go into the blue tent. Okay, they just gave him the smelling salts on the side. Now they're being investigated for a concussion protocol and all this and all that. The reason I'm upset isn't because yes, I have Josh Allen, but as a football fan, teams, NFL, yes, I'm calling you out, Buffalo, but I'm calling every team in the league, even the Chiefs. You keep doing this bull crud, and we are going to lose the sport of football that we love. So get your head out of your rear end and protect the players and protect them from themselves. That's your job to protect them. That's why you have an independent neurologist on the side of the field. That's why you have the people upstairs. It's to protect the guys. Because Josh Allen shouldn't have been in that game. And I'm not saying it was the reason he sucked, but did you guys realize he went 9 for 30?
Yeah.
That's the number 1 overall pick in Superflex. 9 for 30. Yeah. With smelling salts. Jamie, real quick, take it around the horn, buddy.
Yeah, no, that's not cool because there's this thing called second impact syndrome. And if you get hit again with a concussion, that can cause death. That's worst case scenario. But, I mean, they've already had a player die on the field last year briefly. You're going to let that happen to your best player? I don't think that was a smart move.
No, it was pain. Like, I was watching it in real time, seeing it happen. I was like, oof. And then to see him come right back out, I'm like, man, this is sad. Oh, man. Yeah, it was bad. They need to – I know, you want to keep your stars on the field, but that was egregious right there. They didn't even fake it like they cared. They just threw him back out there.
They faked it more with Tua.
Yeah.
Reggie.
I think in certain situations, like the eye in the sky has to be – they have to all treat each quarterback the same. If you're going to treat Tua this way, you got to treat Josh Allen this way. I know he has a history, but the brain is the brain. And it shouldn't be up to the player. The player should have to come out for a series if it's suspected that they're under a concussion at the bare minimum. Come out, put Trubisky in for a drive. And if he's okay, he can go in on the next one. You shouldn't be able to call your own number. But you pay these players so much money. I don't know. It's just, I don't like it.
The fact that it was smelling salts of all, it's like, yeah, just here you go, wake up. Like, even the fantasy footballers like took smelling salts and like put it on the set yesterday and were like made the guys like smell them to like wake
It's
up.
brutal.
As a
You're not
joke.
supposed to.
And that's sad. It's like it's sad that it's a joke. Like I'm not laughing because it's funny. I'm laughing because it's pathetic. All right, so it's been a great show. We're at an hour and 20, but guess what? Waiver wire tonight. It's waiver wire tonight and tomorrow in some leagues. Jordan, which reminds me, I'm going to message you right after we get off.
All right.
Jamie, waiver wire man of the week.
All right. So I know a lot of people, they play in single quarterback leagues. If you're in a single quarterback league, look for Caleb Williams. Like he has a great matchup. I forgot who he's playing. Who is he playing? Jacksonville. Yeah, that's right. Jacksonville secondary, horrible. I think he can kill it again. He was quarterback 6 last week. He's only owned in on Sleeper 60% of single quarterback leagues. Mike, you mentioned on another platform, it was like 30-something% owned. Yeah, go out there, look for him, pick him up. Even after his week 7 bye, he plays the Commanders and the Cardinals. So if you want to keep him for those weeks also, I think he's going to blow up on that. But if he's not available, real quick, I just want to mention another guy. There's a quarterback that's only 16% owned on Sleeper and single quarterback leagues. He's got top 5 upside this week. He finished inside the top 12 3 times this year. He had a quarterback 6 finish. He's sitting there right now, overall quarterback 14. He's playing a defense ranked 30th for passing, and that is Daniel Jones.
The silence is necessary.
Jordan, will you? Okay, I'm calling the shot on this one. Jordan, give your waiver wire. We're not going any farther. Give your waiver wire player of the week.
Okay, so like I said earlier, to try to not to contradict myself, the waiver wire pickup is none other than Tank Bigsby. So, like I said, he was a fake because he's not going to be RB1, but he's still serviceable. And the usage for ATN is trending down. So, I'm not going to tell people not to get him. I just don't think you should expect him to be what he was. So, yeah, him, and then kind of so that I would take the heat off myself. Also, Tyrone Tracy. Someone brought him up earlier.
Yep.
And yeah, it's a speculative ad because, Singletary could be back from injury, but the way he looked, they're bound to give him more looks, and it may be only a matter of time before he, gets a bigger share. I don't think it'll ever be a one-man position with the Giants, but you got to keep him just to see what they do. They're looking for some juice. He provided that against a good defense, I thought, and he looked really good. So pick him up if you can. People will probably be off of him because they think Singletary will be healthy, so you may be able to get him for cheap. Just hold him if you can, just to see what the Giants decide to do with him.
I agree. 65-35 is what I think it's going to end up being in New York split-wise. We won't talk about another position in New York, but we'll just talk about running back. Reggie, who is your – I'm intrigued on yours, but who is your – when I saw it, I was like, this is not what I was expecting. Who is your waiver wire ad?
I actually take something that I look through all my leagues of who I'm looking for and who I'm making room for. And this is more of a dynasty take to Jalen Coker. Jalen, I like to go skiing. Coker from Sacred Heart, small school, but I've been hearing a lot about him. And they need something in this offense. Xavier Legette is a little banged up, maybe a shoulder. Thielen's out. I didn't see the stat line, but he gave the offense a spark last week, and I'm hoping for something good. He's out there for me, and I have another. I'll just throw in backup tight end Span Ford for he's 3rd string. Dynasty, go grab him. I've been hearing a lot about him, and I actually got to watch him. He got his first NFL catch, and he's a monster. But I had to throw that extra in, sorry. But Jalen Coker, Carolina Panthers.
Yeah. Anyone want to comment on any of the waiver wire additions except number 8 in New York?
Poker in Dynasty, I was leaving him on my waiver wire. Wasn't interested in him just because he was undrafted, small school. But last week, I mean, he had that 4 targets, 4 catches, 60-some yards. I believe he went to Holy Cross. So if you put him in your lineup, you have to pray.
All right, so we are an hour and 24 minutes in. We have puns, we have jokes, we got Jordan dying over there. We have way too much of this guy next to me thinking he's a Mr. Stand-Up comedian. So I'm going to throw it around for outros, and then we will get out of here. Reggie, kick it off, my dude.
All my leagues, I'm not picking up Jalen Coker, so don't go after him. You can find me here on the Fantasy Cheat Sheet, also in the Going for Two Discord. Every now and then we do something on Twitch. Shout out to Lou Thunder Bob. Thank you for pulling up. Lou Thunder Bomb. I always screw that up.
Yeah, catch me next week. I'm going to be tackling this waiver wire. It's not as good and plentiful as it was in recent weeks, but I got to make sure I get those set. See you guys next week.
Yeah, man. Always here on Tuesday night cheat sheet. Me and Kyle do the Sunday morning start sit show. Come join us for some last minute questions. I also do an article on Fantasy Six Pack for wide receiver versus cornerbacks.
All right, you guys know where to find me on this thing. I'm here Tuesday nights with the boys. I'm on Drop the Mic on Twitter. I'm also Drop the Mic on TikTok. And I do want to plug something besides, you guys know I do write for nerds, but I do want to plug something because it does take a little bit of work. Jamie, I sent it to you already. You already saw it. I am starting to do some more graphic stuff. And on TikTok, I am going to be doing a Thursday night throwdown player matchup video, not video, but just like a graphic thing with some flames and shit, and want people to interact. This week is going to be who's going to have a better game, Jordan Mason or Kenneth Walker III. So I am going to post that after I get off tonight. So go ahead and check that out. I'm thinking about doing some different ones. If you have any suggestions, hit me up because I'm always looking to do something different with my graphic work. But it's been a great show. And we will get out of here. For Reggie, for Jordan, and Jamie,